No reason.
What happened? What?
Tony was making crazy eyes over there, so I was asking if we were doing crazy eyes for no reason.
No, my eyes were feeling dry, so
So, so dry eyes, you do crazy eyes?
yeah, I'm tired tonight, so I'm like, I'm making this happen.
So like, was he doing like I missed it because I was trying to find the stuff to send out to the groups and everything, but was he doing like crazy eyes like in the movie The New Guy with the little skinny kid and Eddie Griffin?
I don't know that
That's
I've
an
ever
old ass
seen that,
movie.
so I can't answer it. But his eyes got wide and they started moving around all weird. So I was concerned for a moment.
Well, you guys have never
Oh, I
seen
wouldn't be.
I think it's called The New Guy. You've
It
never
is
seen
called The
that?
New Guy.
I've never seen it. I'm not saying it's not a thing. I'm just saying I've never seen it, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's an early 2000s movie.
I don't know, but Tony, you've seen it though, right?
Yeah,
But you've seen it?
yeah.
Okay. You're a little delayed, my bad.
Oh,
My
was I?
mistakes.
Because you asked me twice. So I was like, yeah. Oh, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just hear you the first time. Woo!
Your
All right, yeah, we should
I'm hooked in. Am I
definitely
delayed?
had the ladies on here.
your feed is getting a little wonky, Wheezy.
Oh, I thought he meant me.
No.
You know what? I'm just gonna give up. This is gonna be the last time we do this cast.
Why?
Because apparently I just can't have an internet connection. So
I mean, you can have
can't be
internet
wired
connection.
in. Huh?
You had no problems on Tuesday.
That's
Not
how
a
it always happens.
problem.
That's how it always happens. All the problems come on this cast, never during Shellhead.
Do you ever think it's one of like, is it a connection setting you have?
It's the,
It's
it's
a
the same
different-
settings. Like, I've gone through everything.
A different studio? Oh.
Yeah, I've gone through all the studios. And it sits there and says like, I was like, oh, maybe my internet's just slow for some reason. So then I looked at the speed versus what Riverside says, and I have much more than Riverside suggests us to have. I'm like, I don't fucking know. There's like, if I move too fast, it changes. Like, so that going.
It's crazy. My
shit,
feed
somebody's
now
already-
looks completely different now that I'm hardwired in. It's nuts.
Oh shit, you're hardwired in. That's why I can see a lot more stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got that thing. My brother was actually watching the podcast last week. I think I told Tony this before you got in, and he saw me talking about how he never gave me the things I needed or told me what to get. So he texted me that next morning, and I bought it, and it came in, and I set it up before Tuesday. So Tuesday was the first time I was actually hardwired in. But now my connection speed went from like sub 100 to almost 1,000 megabits, per second. So I'm doing pretty well.
Nice. Just gotta see what I got. Like, it's all about the upload speed with Riverside. We have to figure out what that bullshit is. But that being said, welcome to Collector's Hideout, the podcast where we talk shit about everything and drink and get away from the real world. Different topics every week. This week, Psycho brought up a bunch of different ideas, and the one that stuck out the most to me was cryptids, just because I enjoy cryptids, and there's a lot of cross production with cryptids. So you have like just general cryptids, the stories, the myths, the beliefs, whatever. Then you also have movies all about them. You have toys, featuring them, cartoons, comic books. Like cryptids, like really kind of is a very vast area to go. So I was like, fuck it, we can do that and see where we can take it. Um, Tony keeps trying to call them uh fairy tales, right? Tony, is that what you were calling them earlier?
No, I said myths, urban legends, folklore.
Urban legends, yes.
I mean, folklore fits into that as well.
And he said that too, but I feel with the fact that there's cryptid zoology and it's actually like study of the animals and trying, like, I feel like it's that separates it from folklore. It's a different thing. You're frozen to me.
I don't think I'm frozen.
No, not at all.
No, cool. All
It's
right.
definitely on your end, bud.
Well,
So I can think of.
I started saying that it's like, oh, your connection reset.
I can think of a movie right off the rip. That. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Wait, you got something?
I wasn't saying anything. I was listening to you.
No, I was looking at Wheeze. He put his hand up for something, so I was
Yeah.
like, "We're good."
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I can't,
We're-
dude. You're
we're
cutting out,
great.
man. I'm
Go.
sorry, I can't tell what you're doing. So,
All right. Well, if it's really gonna be that bad, then I'm just gonna end the cast way early then because
Well,
there's gonna be
jump-
no point.
try jumping out and coming back in. All joking aside, it's like it's almost
Yep.
like when you've got a computer, it's got too many other things going on.
Fuck it, whatever. You guys have fun. I'll be back.
Come right back. They're like, hey, come back. What I was gonna say was I can think of a movie right off the rip that probably does a better job than any other movie of exploring, I guess, cryptids, if you want to call it that, but
Okay.
all of those myths, folklore, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
You ever seen it?
I have not. I've heard about it though.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's the one where they got all those things underground, right? Like all the monsters
Yes.
and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
I've
So
not seen it.
essentially, if you know, spoilers, guys, if you know them a little bit about the movie Psycho and you've looked up or read some of the story behind it. So essentially, what it is there's a group of kids that are going out, to camp in a cabin for the weekend, and they find that, like, oh my God, like these zombies are after them, and then there's these other creatures trying to kill them, and they're acting weird, like because of pheromones and things like that, or making people act weird. And then they end up trying to escape. And when they try to escape, they end up finding, like, oh shit, we're trapped and, like, we can't leave. We're in this, like, area we just cannot escape from.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being that there is a group that essentially what they do is they feed folklore beings or fake being, whatever you want to call them, cryptids, and they feed them off whoever's in the cabin in the woods, and they take bets on it. They're like, who's going to win this year? Accounting is betting on the mermaid man, and so is bidding on the zombie family, and somebody else is bidding on I don't know, Dracula. Like, I'm making up shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. It's a really good movie that explores all those characters. It was entertaining from start to finish. It really was. Even if you don't like, I'm not even going to call it horror, even though it's like a little bit of, it is a horror in some respects. But I think it's definitely one of those movies that even if you don't like horror, it's entertaining enough. It's got Sigourney Weaver in it, for Christ's sakes. She's like the head of the organization. You don't realize that till the end, and it's got actors that you're just like, holy crap, these are actually decent big name actors. It's got some comedic value. Just the movie all around, man. First time you watch it, I mean, it's very entertaining in general, but the first time you watch it, it's definitely got enough surprises that you're like, it's pretty damn good. So I think you'd like it, Psycho. I know you're not a big horror guy, but I think you'd dig it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've heard about it. I've heard people talking about it. It's got to be something worthwhile for you look way clearer now.
Yeah.
You see that?
I do. I don't
All
know
right,
why I deserve it, but like, but no. I mean, I've heard people talk about it. I think Chris has talked about it before. It's just, again, it's got to be something special to get me to watch a horror movie. I have less than zero interest in most of them. Right?
What horror movie are we talking about?
Cabin in the Woods.
Which one was
You've
that?
seen it. I know you've seen it, but I don't know if you want to call it a horror movie. I guess you have to.
It's the
absolutely
one where
a horror
these
movie.
kids are in the cabin and then
It's
they
with Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a horror movie. But it's campy and it makes fun of all the horror movies. It's like very meta.
Okay. The only reason
Right.
I brought it up is because, like, we're talking about cryptids and ultimately when they're writing all the characters, like up on the whiteboard,
Mm-hmm.
you remember that part? They're all cryptid characters. They're all folklore. They're all like urban legends. They're all, well, aside from the zombie family, and the mermaid guy, but everything else is like they have written up there. Like, it says like the boogeyman, you know what I mean? Once is like the tar monster or whatever. Once is like the creature.
I mean, to be fair, for that specific scene in the movie and everything, they had to pick all the generic things, right? That's why you had like the not pinhead. You know, you had like all the horror icons for
Yeah.
like Timu versions, right? Just because they didn't want him to get hit. But the idea is supposed to be everything that's murderous, horror, and anything like goes like bump in the night.
Yeah.
They controlled. So like, they control all the horror movies. Like it was just all them.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it's on that little whiteboard they have. A little whiteboard. It's on that big whiteboard where everybody's taking bets.
Yeah.
About who's going to kill him or what's going to be the next. Creature to come out and kill everybody. But I thought it was cool.
That's one just because you mentioned it. That's one series that I would hope for like a Netflix or like a Hulu series, just like an hour episode of like each of the different creatures they had that weren't like bootleg horror characters. You know what I mean?
I think that'd be cool.
Merman one. Like I'd love to see that. Like the same thing like 13 Ghosts. To watch a series about each ghost.
They just announced that actually.
Oh, there you go.
So they just announced. I saw a very very brief hey, this is coming out yesterday, but today I'm seeing more of concrete evidence that they're making a 13 Ghost series. Going to be ironically 13 episodes long. And they're not saying there's gonna be a season 2. They're saying it's probably gonna be a one-time season. And it'll be 13 episodes. Matthew Lillard's gonna be in it, and Christina Ricci.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I really don't know what her role would be in it, unless she's the girlfriend or something, or a friend. But the one girl, if I remember 13 Ghosts properly, didn't the assistant girl die? You know what I'm talking about?
There was an assistant girl. There was Monk. Right.
Well, yeah, forget about that. I'm talking about, remember Cyrus, right? The main guy, Cyrus, the bad guy. He was the rich uncle.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture a girl. Like the only girl I know is the daughter. That's the only girl I can picture, and then the mother. But
so that's what I'm trying to think. Was the mother died in a fire? I'm trying to think of who the hell.
She was the 12th ghost.
There's a girl though that is with Cyrus and with Matthew Lillard hunting the ghosts.
I'd have to watch again. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't remember.
I'm just curious why they didn't choose her. Hold on. 13 Ghosts. I'll be damned. I didn't know there was a 1960 movie called 13 Ghosts.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I almost have to go back and watch it though.
No, you
don't. All right, so
you absolutely don't.
Oh, okay. Here it is right now. Well, that's not the mom, is it?
Oh, while you're doing that, there's one interesting part to the original 13 Ghosts, because I saw a thing about it. It was on TV months ago. I was watching it, but I guess in the theaters, you had like special glasses that you could put on that allowed you to see the ghost or something. So like you'd be told, like there'd be like something would flash in the corner of the screen telling people, "Oh, put your glasses on." That way you can see the ghosts coming up in the next scenes. So it was interesting for the time, but it wasn't a good movie. So while you do that,
I'm trying to think of who this chick is. Oh, she was in Schindler's List. No shit.
Okay, well, so riveting for podcasting, silence.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of who she was in 13 Ghosts.
That's fine. You can figure that out. So when it comes down to the idea of the cryptids, though, like every state has cryptids, as Tony wants to call them, folklore or urban legends. Some more realistic than others, because you have things like the Bigfoot, which there's no reason it really can't be a real thing. But then you'll have like really weird ones like the Jersey Devil. It's like, all right, that's a little goat with like hooves and like wings, and that's a little extreme to be on the real side of things.
A horse face with kind of like a giraffe neck, goat feet, but clawed hands, super thin, and gigantic bat wings is the Jersey Devil. Like that doesn't sound believable at all.
So yes. Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Sarah Jessica Parker?
Same person.
different people. One's Buffy and extremely sexy, and the other one looks like a horse.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
There you go.
Sarah Jessica Parker can't lose.
So like there are like cryptids like that, just like it seems like a big mixture of just randomness. That like, all right, that's not a thing. But there are ones that are like really interesting, and it's out there. Like even for movies, like they've made movies about Bigfoot. There's a crap load of Bigfoot movies. But it's like every state has a Bigfoot story or a Bigfoot thing or a version of a Bigfoot. Like Florida has the skunk ape, which is Florida Bigfoot. But why are you shaking your head? You don't like skunk ape?
No, I just laugh. We also have jackalos, which are totally ridiculously made up and stupid.
Well, I mean, that's just a bunch of people who enjoy Insane Clown Posse. Like, that's fine. They can do their
That's a
thing.
juggalo.
Like,
Are you talking about the rabbit with horns?
Yes.
Yeah, jackalope. Yeah.
It's called a jackalope.
Whatever.
No, not whatever.
Like an antelope, right? Because an antelope has horns.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when I brought this topic up to Chris, I was mostly referring to kind of having a discussion of the reality or the falsity of cryptids, right? I wasn't talking about movies. Chris mentioned movies and toys. I wasn't really thinking about that. I'm very interested in cryptids, specifically Bigfoot, skunk ape, things of that, like the Ohio grassman, right? Things of that nature.
The real one.
Yeah, and it's I find a lot of this stuff interesting, and finding people to talk about it with is not always easy, but I think that it's something that as time goes on, people are becoming much more receptive to, right? There's much more of a willingness to believe in certain things, right? And I mean, other things, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, right? There are people that believe in the Jersey Devil. I'm not here to tell them no, right? There are people who believe in the Loch Ness Monster. And while I do believe that at one point it might have been possible for a Loch Ness Monster to, exist, I don't think that it would exist now.
Well, you're wrong, so that's fine.
I mean, I might be wrong. Who knows?
So everything stems from something, right?
Yeah, and I think that, right, like the one that makes the most sense to me, or at least is the most believable to me, would have to be Bigfoot or creatures like Bigfoot, right? So you have Bigfoot, you have skunk ape, like I said, the Ohio grassman, you have
those are all versions essentially of the same type of thing, right?
Yes, with slight variation.
Sasquatch-esque.
Yeah.
But then you have ones which is weird. You'll have, I think it's like in New York or something. They have, I can't think of the name of the animal or the cryptid, but basically it's just a giant black cat, which is like maybe like a jaguar or what's a black
Well,
cat.
like a puma?
Possibly, but like in those areas, there's no record of big cats. It's not big cat territory. So they call it something, but really all it is like just a black big cat that runs the forest up there. So like,
the one
it very well could be because it's just a fucking cat, like a puma or a jaguar or whatever the fuck, leopard, and it just runs around out there. But they call it a cryptid because it's not supposed to be there, and there's no physical proof of it. There's just sightings and small amounts of evidence, but no solid concrete evidence of it.
Yeah. It's I mean, like I said, it's an interesting thing. When you have the variations of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, usually so Bigfoot's usually said to be somewhere between 7 and 9 feet tall, right? But skunk ape is usually smaller. Skunk ape is usually like 5 to 7 feet tall, right? Its hair is a different color. It's usually a little bit less bulky, like it's not as heavy as people describe Sasquatch as being. But again, it's also much shorter, but it also has this terrible, terrible smell that other people that might see Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever, don't really report. People have reported that Bigfoot has a smell, but it's not nearly as putrid as as what they say skunk ape is.
Wait, because skunk ape's in the Everglades. So
Yeah, I mean, imagine a dog in the swamp all day, gets wet, dries off, gets wet, dries off. Right? It's gonna smell bad.
But like, so a lot of these things can kind of be tied back, right? I don't know if you guys ever heard of a squonk, but
No.
it's from Pennsylvania, and basically it looks like a pig that's like shriveled up and crying, but it's a thing, and somebody walked into a barn and fucking saw a pig in the corner, and it's a monster, right? So the belief of like skunk ape in Florida, we have just an example down in South Florida. There was like an exotic pet store type thing that burnt down years ago, but there's a bunch of monkeys and shit that were there, and they escaped, and they now live on the beach at one of the state parks, at John New Lloyd State Park.
Yeah.
You can find monkeys just living randomly in the wild.
It's not called that anymore, but yes.
What the fuck's it called now?
They renamed John U. Lloyd because John U. Lloyd was a notorious racist and apparently a really bad guy, so they renamed it.
That's interesting because that used to be way back history. It used to be a black beach. Like it was it was the colored beach of that area. Yeah. So to be named that, that's fucked up. That's
Yep.
Well, yeah. So it was John New Lloyd State Park.
Sorry.
But so yeah, they were there. But a lot of people think like skunk ape. It really is literally the original sightings was essentially an orangutan that escaped from a circus of some sort and was living out there, and people saw it, and that's where they got the idea of the skunk ape because the size, the width, and the color of the hair and everything matched the descriptions originally of like an orangutan that people just mistakenly identified because they didn't know what the fuck it was.
So
it became a man.
John U. Lloyd Beach is now called Dr. Von D. Mazel and Eula Johnson State Park.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of things change when you move away from places.
I mean, it changed before you moved away, actually, but yes.
Jesus Christ.
I have buddies in Miami that say there's monkeys all over the place.
Yeah, because what happened, like I don't know the story of the place burning down that Chris was talking about, but I do know that during Hurricane Andrew, Miami Zoo and a lot of other places, so Miami Zoo and Palm Beach Zoo both suffered damage and a lot of their animals escaped. And so
yeah, the place that burned down was near Port Everglades at the time. Oh, that's where it was located, right around there. But yeah, we had like in South Florida, they had birds during Hurricane Andrew too that flew in the eye of the storm from Cuba and like Puerto Rico and shit, and flew over here or over there now because I don't live there anymore. But flew over there, like things migrate. You get those weird things. But there's a lot of but the idea is that a lot of cryptids are mistaken identity for real things. It's just real things that people don't know what it is, so they just, oh, it's this, and that's how you get a cryptid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not willing to say that everything is misidentification. I think
never said everything. I said a lot of things.
I think that there are certain things that are absolutely not misidentification.
Here's the only thing I don't get, right? So like if we're gonna start talking, call it what it is, right? Cryptid conspiracy theory. So let's just pick the easiest one to grab onto, which is Bigfoot, right? Next to Loch Ness.
Most notorious.
Yeah. So how is it? And I'm sure this is asked all the time. You guys say what you want to say, but
I think I know exactly what you're going to say. Can I guess?
Well, it's 2026, people.
Yes.
Okay.
We have drones. We have.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Oh no, we have some of the most insane technology for, video capturing and what have you. And it's not like it's hundreds of millions. Like look, right, 20, 30 years ago, to do what we would want to do today, back then would have cost what, almost $1 million. We can do it today for tens of thousands. And we have the technology to hunt these things down. So I have a very hard time latching on to the Bigfoot thing. I think it's cool to want to believe it's real, but I have a hard time latching on to something that we have yet to have anybody have their cell phone and catch this thing vividly on a camera that we can, honest to Christ, from my front yard, zoom into the moon and see craters. But you don't have anybody in the woods. It's like, oh shit, it's Bigfoot, and I can't get a clear picture of him walking in front of me. But I saw him. Here's my blurry picture.
Fair, but I mean, when you're using your camera on the moon, you're standing still, right?
Sure, but Psycho, give some kind of credit, right? Even if you're having a seizure taking the picture, you can get a better picture than the pictures we do have of what is supposedly Bigfoot.
So that's where the idea.
You might as well tell me Man Bear Pig is real and somebody's seen it.
I mean, he might be. So two parts to that. Now, what you're saying, Tony, is where my mind is at as well, right? When I was younger, that shit wasn't as readily available, so it seemed much more plausible that there was something. But I feel the same. If you're sitting there, it's 2026, and the technology we have, you think that there would be a lot more proof, maybe not physical, but at least media, digital, something proof, right? But at the same time, this is where when you call them conspiracy theorists, this is where conspiracy theorists start adding more bullshit to the conspiracy of Bigfoot to try and explain all that, and then it loses me even more, right? So there's now you have people that say, "Oh, well, you can't do that because the Bigfoot aren't part of this dimension, and they know, and they purposely have ways of messing up electronic devices so you can't record them."
I know.
And
Sorry,
it's like, okay, let's take a step back.
I know.
I'm just saying, but like, let's take a step back. Like, this is where I start losing the belief in it anymore from when I was younger, because it's like, all right, this is getting too sci-fi versus what could really be there. And to me, like you said, I feel like by now we should have much more evidence, like substantial, good quality evidence of it, if we can't have like an actual body, right? Like we should have some much better, at least video evidence of it. But all the video evidence you see, it's always way off in the distance. He kind of runs across. Then you can't really tell how tall it is because he's never really by a tree to like we can measure the height. And then it acts weird, and the person always like runs the other way. Nobody ever runs to the thing because, to be fair, if it was real, I probably wouldn't run to it either. Like, that's a fucking Bigfoot. I'm not going to mess with that. But it's just, you think that there would be higher quality evidence.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you guys are saying. I just don't think that that's an accurate representation for a couple of reasons, right? So, to begin with, you have all sorts of evidence that's being shown every day. And if you look at some of these videos, and some of these videos are actually very good quality, and people then say things like, oh, it's fake. Look at this, and there's absolutely no way that this can be real. But there are a couple of videos in the last, I'd say, 10 years that I think are incredibly compelling. There's the guy who's in a swamp over in Florida, and there's something in the water, and it's kind of far away, and you don't see what it is, but it's in there kind of deep, and it's moving around, and it definitely looks like it's not a guy in a suit, right? And then it gets out of the water, and it is right next to a downed tree, and you can tell it is definitely big, and this guy is freaking out, right? And he is far away. He was kayaking, and he turns his kayak around and gets the fuck out of there, right? You have another guy who comes across what he says is a Bigfoot in front of a cypress knob, and the Bigfoot is tearing pieces off of the cypress stalk, and he's looking for stuff, and the guy accidentally steps on a stick, and the Bigfoot stands up from a squatting position. He stands straight up and turns around, and you get a decent shot when it turns around before the guy runs for his life, right?
So sorry to interrupt you, man, but like when it comes to that stuff, I believe, and I can be speaking for myself, but the internet has killed me on that.
Yep.
Like anything that's a video that comes out, I see on the internet, it's automatically fake in my eyes, right? Because there's so many people either doing costumes, wanting the attention, using AI now. Look, fucking AI now, you can fucking just type in a prompt and you get Bigfoot in every city in Florida making fun of it, walking around talking
Yeah.
shit about Florida, right? And it looks real as fuck. Like I can't believe any video say like I'm at the point where Bigfoot's got to knock on my door and shake my hand for me to really believe like, oh shit, you're real. Like I have to see the Bigfoot with my own eyes now because the internet is just destroyed with fake videos.
Yeah.
Unless it comes on like breaking news and it's like on actual news stations, like we have the official proof, they'll be like, all right, I'm paying attention. But like just a random video online, I can't believe them anymore because there's just so many fucking fake videos out there. Same thing with UFOs, same thing with aliens, ghosts, like all these haunted shows. Like, I don't believe any of that shit anymore that's online because it's so much fake crap out there. I can't.
Yeah. No, listen, I get it. I'm kind of in. Obviously, it's very clear to see Tony doesn't believe, and I don't think you believe much anymore. But
I still believe. I just don't think we're actually having any proof of it.
I will
believe it's out
say
there somewhere.
I will say that I absolutely do believe in it for a couple of reasons. One of which is not compelling at all because it's anecdotal. I remember as a kid, my dad telling me a story about being out in the Everglades and, being with a couple of his friends and setting up a tent and then, something kind of coming into the camp at night that was not something they had ever seen or dealt with and then running away.
Joe.
And then the other ones, I mean, I could kind of go on all day about why people shouldn't discount the possibility of Bigfoot. Like I'll start very, very cliche. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, right? So just because you don't have evidence doesn't mean the thing doesn't exist. But the most compelling thing to me, and the thing that if someone were able to explain it to me in a logical fashion, then I would say, you know what? You're absolutely right. Bigfoot can't exist. At the height of their civilization, there were over 400 Native American tribes in North America, encompassing all of what's now America, or, the United States and all of Canada. There were over 400 indigenous tribes at the height of their civilizations. Every single one of them, right? Every single one of them had a story about a Bigfoot, right? Or what we would call Bigfoot. They all called it different things in their cultures. But all of them were described almost exactly the same way. Now, that in and of itself is not compelling because stories can be told and retold. The part to me that is the most compelling. Yes, the part to me that is most compelling is that many of these tribes did one of two things. The first one is we do know that tribes on the West Coast and in the mountainous regions, they drew cave paintings. And the cave paintings that they drew, we have no reason to question when they drew a deer, when they drew pigs, when they drew horses, when they drew any of those things. But among those pictures, they also drew pictures of what we would now call Bigfoot. So in sections where they were drawing real animals that they had to deal with, they also drew this thing that we can't explain. That's the first thing that I find compelling. And it's not just once. It happened several times amongst many, many different tribes. But what I think is even more compelling evidence than that is that there has never been in the history of the world any non-human primates native to North America. Ever. Not once. Never. So why is it that several Native American tribes that carve objects for ceremonial purposes or for storytelling purposes were able to carve almost exactly the face of a monkey or the face of a gorilla knowing that they have never encountered those things. There are no non-human primates that have ever been native to North America. And so people don't look like primates. They don't. Maybe they did millennia ago. They don't now. And so how is it that you have several tribes able to carve almost precisely the face of a gorilla when nothing like that ever existed here? And until somebody can explain that, I'm not going to stop believing.
So, to correct one thing you said, I do believe. I just feel like the more technologically advanced we get, and the less evidence there is of it, I find myself questioning. Like, I still believe, right? But the to answer your question, and the best example I can give, I've brought it up before on a previous cast jokingly, is the idea, that old rumor about Marilyn Manson removing 2 of his ribs.
Mhm.
I was in middle school when I heard that, but like every kid knew that fucking rumor. There was
Yes.
no internet for us to learn that. Like, where did we hear? Like, it spreads is the point. Like, it gets around. It
True.
becomes a thing, right? And it would have been a thing. It's just a possibility back then. And then when we were talking about the things on the walls, like, yeah, it's a valid observation, but there's no. You can't, unless you knew somebody who drew them. You can't say that, oh, they didn't just draw them for the fact of the story, for the, for some type of entertainment for the children, stories passed down by the elders, just a representation. Because at that same time, you could also make that same argument for sea serpents. All the people who traveled the oceans, every map had sea serpents, right? Like, this is a thing. In several Asian communities, they all the tribes, they all had dragons. Like, they all could have very well been things for that same argument, but it's the same thing. There's such a lack of physical evidence of it that you have to just kind of assume that it might not be.
But so a couple of things in response to that, right? Like, we do have explanations of why people drew sea serpents, right? Like, we
Giant
know
squid.
we know that they were seeing eel. Like, we know that. And we
No,
know
but these
that a
people
lot
talking about sea serpents that eat boats, right?
Yeah, I mean, and we also know that a lot of those people, when they were traveling very early on, were suffering from scurvy, which causes you to hallucinate things. We know that mermaids were really just manatee, right? Or more accurately, the stellar dugong, which was hunted to extinction, but the tail looks exactly like a mermaid's tail, is described.
But that
And
all runs into what I said before about mistaken identity.
yes, but what I'm telling you is all of those things, while there are explanations and people were seeing things, right? Tony said the giant squid, right?
That's true. He did. I mean, I'm referring to Tim's
Yeah.
comment.
But
that
when
Josh Gates did find a Bigfoot with an unidentified fur in it. That did happen.
when Tony said giant squid, right? A lot of these sailors, they would hunt whale on the ride over, right? And they found these whales with giant suction marks on them. So they assumed that something had been attacking these whales that was large enough to leave a suction mark because it looked just like a squid. And for years, they said the giant squid was a myth and it didn't exist. And when you and I were in high school, they actually proved that giant squid exists. They've been real all along.
Yeah,
right?
They proved it because they actually got video of it.
Yes, because technology had advanced to the point where they were able to go down further than they had before. The point of all of this that I'm trying to get to is a lot of these misidentifications, as you said, come from specific things. However, right?
Hello, Maria. She's back from Cuba.
In response to that, right, it still doesn't explain how these tribes, which and I know you said they could have communicated, right?
Well, it's community. No, it's not. It's community. It gets passed, right? Is the point?
Yes.
Obviously, whoever I knew, where I learned that rumor from, I didn't have like a direct connection to somebody in California who also knew said rumor, right?
True.
Like, it's just one of those things that spreads like wildfire.
But I'm talking about if I asked you to carve something or draw something that you have never seen, that you have never done, from somebody passing it down because they've never seen it, never done it, it would be difficult. I'm not saying it would be impossible, but it would be difficult. But we also know from anthropologists that there are tribes who never were in contact with one another, ever, never. They lived on opposite sides of the continent. They have never interacted with one another, and yet here you have these two different tribes, and there's more than two, but we're going to look at two, who carved the exact same thing in different time periods in different locations, having never communicated, and it looks the same. It's not, oh, well, this is a mermaid, but this is what a mermaid looks like, right? Like one mermaid was pleasant and lovely and great and granted wishes. Another mermaid was, if you saw it, it would pull you off your boat and eat you.
Right? That's like a better kind. That's the siren, yeah.
But that's not what I'm saying. Is that's not what's going on with Bigfoot in my explanation, right? There's coincidence, and then there's too much of a coincidence.
But you're also looking at the fact of, if you have to think about just the way the human is, right? And it comes from thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution.
Yep.
The fact that what they've shown, that we all crossed like the bridge, and we all came from Africa basically, and as it migrated around and all of that. So like the stories could still be passed down as it comes around, right?
Sure.
So and it's a wild thought, like thousands of years you have the same detail, and I understand what you're saying. Like I said, I understand what you're saying. I'm just playing devil's advocate for the cast. I get what you're saying, but my whole thing is I'm just going to throw out the arguments that are valid arguments that I've heard. Like, that's a valid point. I don't personally have the evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just say, oh, you're wrong. Like, that's a valid point. Like you just can't help but, okay. But I want to believe Tony might be a Bigfoot. Just shaves.
But it's like
Bigfoot.
I think it's all bullshit. Sorry, dude. Listen, I got you. Like, the tribes haven't seen this, they haven't seen that, and whatever, and that's fine. That's great. I can't believe, I refuse to believe that in all the years, not 10 years, not 100 years, what, a couple 100,000, what have you years that it's been, that this theory has been floating around about some big mythical creature. Call it what it is, mythical creature. Might as well call it a dragon, right? These giant mythical creatures that supposedly exist, supposedly people have seen it, yet we have yet to, in all, unless they're the greatest magicians ever created, have yet to be caught, had physical concrete evidence, a limb, something, an offspring, anything that would tell me that these creatures exist and are real, and we've yet to see any of them. And to your point, hold up, I see your mouth going like this. So the active listening skills are not in full effect. So speaking of, you're saying with the squids, right? Oh, we haven't seen them. They must not exist. And it took so long for the squids to become evident because we couldn't swim down far enough. We're not talking about swimming anywhere. We're talking about a creature that is on level land with us. It's not like it lives in the top of Mount Everest and only comes out once a year to feed. We're talking about something that supposedly lives year round in all these different locations, and yet nobody's seen one.
But see, that's not accurate. A lot of people have claimed to see it. Right?
Okay,
so
a lot of people claim to see Loch Ness Monster. We've still yet to go down there and find the thing.
What I'm saying is,
your deep down the water,
your statement was nobody has seen one. Several people have claimed to see one. You might not believe that someone has seen one, but you can't say no one has seen one because several people swear that they have. Right? And so the thing is, Tony, like, I get it. How long have you lived in Florida?
Too long.
I know what you're going to say.
Over 30
I know what
years.
you're about to say. Panthers.
No, but I'm not going to say, I'm not even going to talk about Panthers, but I mean, that's an excellent point. What I was going to say, have you ever been out to the Everglades?
Yeah.
How far out in the Everglades have you been?
I don't, what's the point of this conversation?
The point that I'm saying is, right, a lot of these people who see Bigfoot, or in your point, claim to see it, right, are in areas that most people don't go. You say they share level ground with us, but you would imagine that an animal who is smart enough to survive is also smart enough to understand that humans don't bring good things, they bring death, right? And so would stay far away. And all these areas, see, part of the misconception that people have is that there are no more wild spaces left in the world, right? And all the places where Bigfoot is said to exist, or Bigfoot-like creature, are in areas where humans don't live, right? So when you look at the Pacific Northwest and how rocky the terrain is and how uneven it is and how fluctuating the climate is, right? It'll be hot at one point, it'll be freezing the next point. You got rain. It's not very hospitable. And so you go from these areas of civilization in that community and you go out miles and it's just woods, right? And even hikers don't go all the way out through the woods forever, right? They have to turn back. They have to do things. And you mentioned drones earlier, right? Drones, unless you're the U.S. military, you don't have a drone capable of flying for weeks without ever landing, right? That does sweeps. Like most people don't own that stuff. They have recreational drones, right? So, and that drone can only travel X amount of distance from the person with the remote. So, how would you know?
But see, your point, you're at the same time you're almost stating people never go to these areas. Well, somebody's going there because they're claiming that on these places, that these hikes and these, I was camping and I was in the forest and all of a sudden I saw Bigfoot and he ran away from me because, he didn't like my cologne or something. I don't know.
There's plenty of stories where like, oh, I was in my cabin and Bigfoot attacked the cabin. Right?
Yeah. So I can't, I get what you're saying. If he was going to exist, right, it would be in those areas where people wouldn't travel to. But like Chris is getting ready to say, people have seen him. Yeah. People have seen him come down to our areas.
Yes.
So I can't get past that. If
we haven't, even the idea of skunk ape with the Florida, one of the biggest well-known stories of skunk ape was that he was behind a restaurant in a dumpster and a guy shot at him. Like the stories that you hear are here. They're with us. They're not out in the middle of nowhere, right? Whereas versus a giant squid in a vast ocean miles below, much easier to hide because it's just you have to be there versus a Bigfoot who apparently likes to walk up to people's front doors and try and enter the house sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, because they're curious. Bears do
steal their corsages and eat their fish sandwiches.
But I mean, bears do the same thing. Bears come up to people's cabins, right? Like we don't
take an identity again. Another point for Wheezy,
right? So it's like I just think that there's too much evidence to say something isn't happening, right? Like Tony, how would you explain all the footprints that people have found? Sure. So the guy that claimed on his deathbed that he hoaxed all of the footprints in the Pacific Northwest by that logging camp, he came out and he said that he did it. And his family was like, oh, look, he just died. And this is in his safety deposit box were these two sandals that he made with Bigfoot's feet in them. But what was interesting is the guy claimed to be responsible for all of those footprints, but the plaster casts they took of the footprints in the area the guy said he made the footprints looked nothing like the print shoes, right? His print shoes were flat. They were all the same level, and they had a completely different shape than the casts that were actually taken from the event. And there are features of these plaster casts from footprints that show dermal ridges, right? They're not wooden. They're not wood that's been sanded down. They're not rubber. They also have a mid-tarsal break, which is something that people don't have. It's because our feet don't work that way. And these are things that people wouldn't hoax. And even if they were hoaxing them now, how do you explain the casts from before people knew these things still showing those things? Right? Like that's that's it's just there's too much evidence to say simply that it's a coincidence. Hold on one second. I'm being beckoned.
Joe just sent me some of these videos. Hold on. See if I can share it real quick.
I don't know. I call it a lot of visual dumb luck, I guess is the only way to put it. I don't know. It's not. I don't have faith. It's like Harry and the Hendersons. Like, call it what you want. Jesus Christ. Is he making AI videos of Bigfoot?
No. Apparently, this is real footage
of Bigfoot stealing your package off your porch.
This is aliens. These are aliens. But like, watch down here in this corner.
What corner?
Oh, I'm like circling the corner with my mouse, thinking you can see it. The bottom right, like underneath where it says "Dear God."
Okay. Okay, what just scared me more than anything was seeing Psycho come back on the screen.
You better be scared, Tony.
It's a fucking rabbit.
It's a rabbit?
Yes.
Sure, we'll go with rabbit.
It's a big fucking rabbit.
Survey says.
I mean, it's interesting, but that's one of those things. It's like, it's a video, it's a Ring camera, so it's like, oh, it should be, real, but it's like, I can't trust that nobody edited that. Like,
it looks edited to me.
Like, I don't know. Joe, I don't know, man. I was hoping something better, Joe. I was not gonna lie. Let's see what else he said. He sent the few. So,
but I mean, while Chris is pulling up that next video, Tony, I mean, it's things like that people are going to hoax. But how many people are going to have the knowledge to include anatomical features that people don't have, but that certain animals have? Especially when the people that have claimed to be the ones that are perpetrating the hoax don't have the education to back up the realism that's shown in some of these casts, right? And then
no, go ahead, John. I'll wait.
Okay, no, play it.
So this is apparently an alien as well, and I don't think so, but
that's definitely fake.
Oh my God, if it was any more Men in Black, I'd shit.
Like, all I just saw was like, I feel like that was just like a child with like underwear in his head walking around like an asshole. Like, that's what I feel like that was. See, they play the Dobie. Yeah, there you go. Gave him a sock and he fucking ran away. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It's just for Bigfoot, it's like you have these people that are claiming to be responsible for perpetrating hoaxes, but then the things that they say don't make any sense. And you go back to the very first Bigfoot film, and it has been analyzed to death, the Patterson-Gimlin tape. I'm sure you've seen it, right? With Patty walking through the woods and she turns to the right. You know what video I'm talking about, right, Tony? The old one. It's like jumpy. Everybody
the one
like
where
this.
The Bigfoot walks the exact same gait as the guy. Yeah.
I mean, except for a couple of things. People that have said that it's a costume, they have x-rayed the film, right? The film cells, because they're old and they're blurry. So they've x-rayed them. And you can see the mouth in the costume, if it is a costume, opening and closing. You can see the eyelids opening and closing, where if you're wearing a mask, that stuff wouldn't be visible, right? You also can see the musculature in the legs and the arms. You can see movement that you wouldn't see through a costume. And as far as you said, it has the same gait as the guy who was walking. Many scientists have looked at that, and that's the point. That's the part that they point to most of all. People can't walk the way that creature, whatever it was, is walking in the video. If you look it up.
But the video, because the one you're talking about, they have video of the guy himself walking. And he walks almost the exact same way.
I mean, again, I disagree, Because, like I
obviously,
said,
Bigfoot's arms are a little longer and they swing out because it's obviously a bigger, longer
Awesome.
arms or everything. But like, it just very, it's very.
I would like to see the video you're talking about at some point because, again, in all the things that I have read and seen and all the documentaries, you have all these scientists that are saying that people can't walk like that. The way that it lifts its leg, the way that it walks, people don't walk that way. The movement and the fact that when it turned, if it was a person, you would turn your neck, not your body, right? A gorilla turns its body because its neck doesn't function that way.
Yeah, but so does Michael Keaton as Batman. So, I mean, am I wrong?
I'll stun you.
Did he not spin that movie turning like this because he couldn't move his head?
Yes, because he didn't have a neck that functioned. Yes,
because he had a costume.
He was wearing a costume. What I'm saying is the video of whatever it is, they've shown that it can't be a costume. The technology for a costume like that in the year that it was filmed didn't exist.
What year was it filmed?
Like 1962. Costumes were not realistic then.
Psycho, I give you an extra scoop for your beliefs and how you stand by them.
Like how does fucking Chewbacca walk and turn?
Well, that was in the 70s.
Yeah, but still.
It was 1977. And again, you didn't see leg muscles in Chewbacca's costume. You didn't
looking.
You didn't see arm muscles in Chewbacca's costume, right? Like there was no actual musculature definition. And that was a costume that not in the first movie, but in every movie after that, they spent a lot of money on. And it did not have all the features that you see in the Patterson-Gimlin film, right? And so we're talking about the 60s before costuming. Could they make a costume that looked realistic today? Absolutely. Would you be able to open and close the eyelids and the mouth? Maybe. The mouth is easier than the eyelids, right? The eyelids you could use machines to do, right? Like you could have little motors in the eyelids so it actually makes it look like that's going on. But in the 60s, they didn't have that. And the film footage actually shows the eyelids opening and closing, the nostrils flaring, the mouth opening and closing, which would not have been possible in a mask at that time.
Okay, hold on. I'll look that video up in a second. But here's one from Joe, and this is part of what I was saying earlier. Just watching this, seeing this guy in the ATV, I feel like he would just lie about anything for attention. Like, he's definitely that kind of person. But back here,
I've seen this video.
A Bigfoot appears and walks by.
Yeah.
And his is just to stop and point at it. I feel like that guy lies. He just looks like he lies. I know a lot of guys who look like that. And
I just find it weird that he's just like, I'm riding my four-wheel. Oh, look, dude, it's Bigfoot. Like he just stops.
Here, Joe sent me the video you're talking about, John. Give me a second. I will bring it up. As soon as I can figure out, oh, it's a GIF. It's not even a fucking video. God damn it, Joe.
Listen, the Bigfoot that shows up in Futurama is more likely to be real than the Bigfoot that other people are seeing. Yeah, that's the old ass video. That looks like a goddamn person.
Exactly.
It doesn't, because again, people don't walk like that. When you have
he just got a badunkadunk. Like,
I get it. We're not scientists, but when motion expert scientists, right? People that actually study kinesthetics and the way the body moves and everything else say that people can't walk like that, right? Like,
here's my thing. Just real quick, John, before you get into that, people can't walk like that. When he looks like just every other hunchback person walking through Disney World right now, right? Yeah. Besides that, all the stuff that you just spent that entire time saying about, you see the mask or nothing, you see the face, the nostrils flare, this, that. How?
Because it's not in this film. This film was just a stabilization using AI to stabilize it. there is a documentary that shows it where they actually go and have the film x-rayed, right? And then those x-rays are fed into the computer and they have it pulled up. I'll see if I can find it, but
because I've seen this film a billion times, and there's no way you could get there and see him fucking blink an eye.
And how is it if it's such a humanistic creature, right?
yep.
In physicality purposes, how is it that creature does not challenge any person it seems it ever encounters?
I'm sorry.
Because then, so
that,
there
please.
is. So just to answer Tony's question, there is a big. There's a popular. One of the popular beliefs is that the Bigfoot is smarter than is given credit. That it's actually very intelligent, and it knows to stay away from humans as much as it can, because humans are dangerous. That they are actually very, very intelligent creatures, and they purposely stay away from us, knowing that we will be their downfall. So they stay away.
Are these the same people that say that Groundhog Day is basically
Good?
about the devil? And
I mean, it kind of is. Can't prove it's not. It makes a lot of sense. But so that's one thing they say. Then there's very few stories. There are stories of it, but there's very few stories of a Bigfoot actually being aggressive and attacking people. Like there are a couple stories of it, but it's not common. They're usually off in the distance, and it's one of those, oh, they're more afraid of you than you are of it type of thing. And they purposely supposedly stay away from people.
I don't know if they call them aggressive necessarily. I mean, they're a little forceful. I mean,
Let's see. Joe's sending me something else. All right, he sent me another video of it zoomed in. Look, this is what I'm saying. How
what?
Fair enough. If you believe in
right now.
Bigfoot, let us know.
Right here. This is zoomed in of the actual footage, right? Mm-hmm. How the fuck you seen anything blink?
I mean, again, when I find that video, I'll show it to you. This is not the X-ray, but even here, you can see the musculature in the legs as it's walking, which you would not see in a costume. Muscles wouldn't bulge; they wouldn't ripple in a costume, right?
I'm not looking at Bigfoot bulge. Are you? I'm not. But what I'm seeing,
I said in the leg, and I said the muscle bulges.
I mean, maybe he's gifted like that. Maybe his bulge is down to his leg. I don't know. I don't judge.
Except it's a girl. That's a female Bigfoot.
Who am I to? Have you asked it its pronouns? I haven't. I don't know. I'm not.
It has breasts, for Christ's sake.
So do a lot of men.
Oh my God.
There's a boob for a reason. So, but when you look at this thing, like all I'm seeing, I just see the fur moving. Like, and like I said, it's got a badunga, it got a BBL from somewhere, but like, I'm just not. I'd love to see what you're talking about, where they break it down better, because like all the footage I've seen is like that, and it's like you can't see any of that type of detail in that footage.
Sorry. Oh, Timothy.
I didn't see what do you say. I'm fucking looking at Joe's messages. See, Joe
Listen, if that thing was real, you thought maybe somebody like Tim would have seen it by now, if we're just being honest.
Tim's out there right now looking for it after seeing the thickness.
He's leaving.
Like I said, I believe in the Bigfoot. I can't, like, there's just so much wrong with a lot of the evidence that I can't believe the evidence until like I said, he knocks on my door and says hi. That's where I'm at. Same thing at aliens now. I love aliens. Aliens are my shit. And I've seen a UFO. Like, I've seen some shit. And I don't believe a single video I see. I can't. Because there's just so much fake shit. I've done reports. I've studied the Loch Ness Monster. I believe in the Loch Ness Monster. But same thing. Like, I don't believe any of the videos within the past, 15 years? If it came out within the past 15 years, I don't believe it. I do not believe the video. That's just where I'm at. I'm like Mulder. I want to believe.
I think the only thing that could, and I don't want to say debunk, right? Because it's not really probably the right word, but that could challenge some of these things is that Greenland shark that they found.
What
Isn't
about
that thing 1,300 years old or something?
supposedly? But the first thing the Greenland shark taught them, which is a very interesting jump for shark kind, is that it also goes into fresh waters. Until then, it was really believed that only like the bull shark went in fresh water because they've caught them like in the Mississippi, up in Illinois and stuff. But after seeing that one, now there's actually a firm belief that all sharks can go in the fresh water because of that Greenland shark. And now I saw a thing the other day, like, oh, it's like 1,300 years old. He's lived through this many presidents and this many this. Like, how the fuck do you know he's 1,300 years old? Did you talk to him? Or are we just guessing at that point? Like,
Yeah, I saw something too that I guess great whites. They're finding great whites are able to go into fresh water for a certain amount of time.
yep, all sharks.
It's something
They're
to do with
doing
like
it
a
like in
salt.
Australia or something right
Yeah,
now.
it's like a salt deficiency or something. Like they're able to. They can't live there indefinitely, but they can swim through those waters, do their thing, and they can go. They have to go back to the ocean at some point.
So most fish, this is going into weird topics. Um, One thing you learn is that most fish, even if you have salt water or fresh water, if you slowly change their water to the other in a very slow manner, they will eventually adapt and can survive in the other water. So saltwater fish can eventually live in freshwater. Freshwater can go in saltwater over time. But
My
sharks
dad,
just say, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do this because I'm a shark and I'm your daddy.
yeah, my
That's what
dad's
I wanted.
friend in the Keys. He has property in the Keys. He built a house there. He's got a couple ponds on his property. And the top of the pond is freshwater, and the bottom of the pond is saltwater. And so he has saltwater and freshwater fish in the same pond, and they do swim from top to bottom. They have adapted to be able to be in both. When he first put the the fish in, right, like the freshwater fish would only stay at the top. And then as they were in there longer, they started to go down further. And what ended up happening is as they bred, the newer fish were already acclimated. They could just go as babies down. They didn't need the time to kind of acclimate to it.
Yeah, so apparently, so the real belief is that all sharks can actually do it. Just the bull sharks do it more. They're the ones known to do it because they've been caught, and they go after food. So there's really no reason for like a great white to go up the Mississippi for food because there's not big enough stuff for it to really even go after. Like it's the food's not there for it, so it doesn't go.
But I thought that now they were I thought now the whole thing was they're saying that sharks like the bull shark and the great white go up there to have their young and survive when they're younger.
That's possible for that. But I don't know. People were getting eaten though in Illinois. People were like they would kill people by throwing them into the Mississippi River, and something would eat them. Turns out it was sharks.
Well, yeah, and I mean there've been stories throughout the history of this country of people being attacked by things that they can't explain in the water, and now knowing that sharks that travel through, it explains why people would lose a limb, right? Like things would attack in vicious manners that aren't normal.
Which starts explaining a lot of the lake monsters and stuff that people never saw but attacked, and it turns out it could probably just a shark being
Some
an
big ass bull sharks, man. Those are I think the bull sharks, if I'm not mistaken, are more aggressive than the great whites.
So that's
Yes,
that's
they
what
are.
they're supposedly the most aggressive shark species. And like bull sharks, like nurse sharks, and like pit bulls have a tendency that when they bite on, their jaws do that lock and they don't like let go.
Okay,
They just kinda
so
go. So
I'm gonna try to share my screen and see if this works. I found the X-ray footage on an episode of Monster Quest. They also used it in other things, some documentaries, but it's X-ray footage of the Patterson Gimlin film that as it was being X-rayed,
Hit the buttons. Bring it up.
Yeah, we're mapping. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Relax.
Why
Well,
don't
it is
they use that
interesting what Joe
footage to,
said.
capture other Bigfoots on camera instead of trying to fix an old 1940 something fucking video.
But it's interesting what Joe said that they actually
Well,
photographed
I-
caught and photographed a live goblin shark for the first
So I
time.
just
ever.
hit screen.
Yeah, share and
hit
then that
share,
screen. Yes.
And then
Okay.
it'll put a screen. It'll ask you which screen. But Tony, have you ever seen a goblin shark?
All right.
Yeah, I pulled it up. It's creepy looking.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's the X-ray, that's terrible.
That's
It looks like an ink blot test. Like
His size
it's
says it all.
Rorschach's face.
Oh, the guy on the left looks really reputable. He looks like he had to register when he moved last.
Jesus Christ, Tony.
What do we got here, Bill? Well, we've got this picture I drew. As you can see, I'm not a very good artist. Oh, it's sad. Oh.
God damn it, Tony.
Psycho, is there audio?
yes. How do I turn that on?
You just hit audio, bud.
Oh, shit.
And this is the most interesting
Let me
sequence of the
open.
mouth opening and closing. What's interesting in that it shows the movement of the mouth and the sides of the face and the lips. So there's quite a bit resolved, and there's actually a lot of detail that is consistent from frame to frame, and you get a consistent facial morphology looking at multiple frames. People have often thought of the film subject's mouth as being higher up than it actually is.
And you see how that can happen too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's a picture of Pan,
Yeah.
a chimpanzee, and you think that the mouth is actually where this dark line is, but it's actually below that in the deep shadow. There's a similar analogy here. Yeah.
That's a good comparison. If there had been a mask on some animal, a human or something like that, it was a well fabricated mask. I'll say that, which I sort of doubt now more than I would have back in those days.
I don't see anything that stands out and glaringly says fake. You know, the way the mouth can move and even makes facial expressions that are similar to those of chimpanzees, like the compressed lip display. I don't know who would think of that.
All right. I don't want to get in trouble for showing too much of this.
Oh, you won't. Nobody believes it anyway.
Oh, but so just because Joe just sent this to me, I'm gonna play it. Just because, why not?
How do I unshare? Did it unshare?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Like, but hold on. The people can't walk that way argument. And
It's true. The way he walks in the movie.
that's the whole point. Yeah.
I love her, by the way.
Except he doesn't walk that way. His foot barely comes up off the ground, right? So, like, I get that you guys are just trying to have fun and trying to frustrate me, but the leg in the Bigfoot photo comes up 90 degrees. People's legs don't do that when they walk. People don't bend their legs 90 degrees to come up. The Bigfoot does that. The foot of a person also doesn't flex while they are walking. It stays as it is because we have arches and primates don't. Right? If you go back and you watch the Patterson Gimlin film, what you will see is the figure. You want to say it's a man in a suit, it's a man in a suit, right? When it walks, its knee bends at 90 degrees. That is not the way that people walk. They do not lift their leg all the way up so that it's perpendicular to their other leg that is walking, right? If you go back and you play that video you just played, you will see his foot comes off the ground maybe 2 or 3 inches. He's doing the ridiculous arm stride, sure, and he turns his body, but that doesn't explain what's going on with his leg and his foot, right?
Okay, so let me ask you this, Psycho. So in light of that, you're saying the way he's moving his legs is not remnant of a human or what have you. He's wearing a costume, right? Let's just say it's a person.
Sure.
He's wearing a costume.
The costume would be heavier, so it'd make it harder to walk.
Correct.
Yes.
So a taller gentleman, and it looks like it's built out where the backing is huge on it for whatever reason. So the way the back is bloated out, if there's any kind of stilt mechanism that he may be standing on, and he's in a costume, he's going to have to move differently just to make the movement fluid in the costume.
Sure. How would the stilt look in the leg for the leg to bend?
I got one for you, Tony.
I don't know. I'm not a criminal mastermind.
That's the point. They couldn't have a stilt mechanism to put in there.
Fuck a stilt mechanism. The way you're talking about walking, bending your knee 90 degrees and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen somebody who's never or not regularly walked in flippers?
They more waddle. They pick their knee. See, they pick their knee up in front of them. They don't. When you're walking in flippers, you pick your leg up and put it down in front of you, right? It's more like this. It's not a clean walking gait. You walk weird, but your leg is not coming up in the back. It's coming up in the front when you walk with flippers. Think about when you've worn flippers. You pick your leg straight up in the front and you move forward slowly. In the video of Bigfoot, his leg is not going up in the front, right? It's bending 90 degrees to the back. That's not the way that people walk. And again, I am not a medical doctor, but I've watched a lot of these documentaries, and you have these well-respected orthopedic surgeons and kinesiologists who study the movement of people and what our muscles are able to do. And people's muscles don't do that, especially when you throw in the fact, yes, if you were just standing there, you could lift your leg. But if you look at the way that creature walks, or person in a suit, if you would rather, they are leaning forward, right? So they have weight up at the front of them. So if they're leaning forward, and then they are also doing that with their leg, they're not going to be able to do that, right? And they have tried to duplicate that and replicate that with athletes who are trained to be able to use their muscles in extreme situations, and they haven't been able to get them to do it.
Just before we end the night, because we're getting late, but watching this video right here and watching the legs, focusing on the legs more than I probably should, I don't see this 90-degree.
Yes, because that video starts once it gets behind the log that's down. The other video that you showed earlier started before it got behind the log, and you could see the leg doing the 90 degrees.
That looks like oh shit. Oh, I'm still there. Sorry. I hit the wrong button. I got freaked out for a minute. So that looks like a marching band. He looks like he could be like playing a trumpet while he's walking.
No, we're bringing it back.
Over. Oh, somebody else doing a screen?
Now, before it gets to where all that crap is in the front, when this video first started, you can see the leg come up 90 degrees. On all those, the leg comes up 90 degrees. It's not 2 or 3 inches off the ground. It's 90 degrees, straight back and perpendicular. People do not walk like that.
I am not seeing this 90 degrees. I'm seeing somebody who's purposely taking a little bit of a higher step because there's fucking wood and shit on the floor that he's stepping over, and terrain. I'm not seeing anything that's unusual for a step. But
I can't back you up on that one, John. I can't even get behind it a little bit. Nothing there.
I'm not a scientist, so I could be absolutely wrong. I'm just not seeing that claim. I'm just not.
It's there.
Fucking Tim. Tim, you can't afford to go camping. It requires income.
That's hateful.
Oh, shit, that was
the cheapest thing we could possibly do together still requires more money than you have disposable to you at any time, dude.
Jesus Christ. Oh, but yeah, I don't see it. And I believe in Bigfoot. I believe it's a thing. I believe he's out there. I've never believed that video because I need better.
I believe everything is derived from something. I do not believe that is derived from that.
Now, I'm not against the idea that they're out in the woods, that there is a primate of some sort that's big, that Bigfoot. Absolutely. To me, there's no reason there can't be. Absolutely. I'm with it. That video is not the proof I feel people say it is. I don't.
I mean, and see right there, right there is the issue, right? It's like, even when people have things, like Tony's like, oh, why don't people have things? Even when people have things, people are just like, no, that's not it. And yeah, that video is that footage is grainy. It jumps around. It was taken in 1967, right? And the person was running after this thing, jumped off his horse, ran after this thing, tripped and fell, was still filming it. And again, right, you have what's there, but people are going to debate what's there. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a video expert, right?
So Psycho.
But, yeah.
Psycho. So falls off his horse and, to your point, starts running after this thing.
Yep.
And it doesn't fucking run away. It's just like, hold on.
But it's not moving. It's not moving slow. It's actually moving very quickly, and it's more than a couple hundred yards away from them, right? Like, what does it need to run?
So apparently this is the unedited original footage.
Yes.
Joe sent it to me, and it does not do anything to help this.
No, because it's all freaking jumbled.
Like, I don't know if that's Bigfoot or the Blair Witch.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, right now it's just trees. Now you have something.
Like, literally, all I'm seeing is a guy in a...
Yeah, I got it, man. Great job.
Like, all I'm seeing is, like, literally, is a guy in a suit walking, and the way he's stepping, and that also still reminds me of somebody, even say somebody at the beach without flippers, just in sand that's softer, that their feet sinking into the sand, they take a different step to be able to get their foot out, right? Like, you know, when you hit that sand, that you step in, you sink in like, you know, good like 3-4 inches because it's still kind of wet and soft. They take a different type of step to continue on. Like, their foot comes up higher. Like, I'm not seeing anything that's unhuman-like.
Normally, when you are walking in thick things, like thick sand at the beach, you're walking more on the front of your foot. You're not putting your weight on the back of the foot so that you don't sink in, right? And we can do that because
I like the way it feels sinking in, so I sink in.
I mean, and we can do that because we have an arch on our foot. Primates don't have an arch.
He's not a primate, though. He's a mix. He's the missing link. He is the missing link between humans and primates.
Yeah, the only arch humans have are the golden ones.
Like I said, I believe in it. I just don't. I feel that that's not the evidence that people think it is. It's not it. I can't
get behind this one. I want to get behind something. It's just not this.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's thousands of years of evidence. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, there's evidence of all kinds of shit.
The same thing about Jesus, like
Jeebus.
I mean, so we're not going to get into a religious discussion. Right?
Psycho's like, I don't have time for that. I don't have enough videos.
I mean, we'll absolutely be canceled immediately. Like, we will absolutely be canceled immediately. You'll go to film this show on Tuesday, and all of a sudden they'll be like, nope.
Oh, no. Again. If I ever, which I would not have a religious discussion on here because that's part of the things I don't want to have bring into the cast to get away from the real world. But if I ever did decide to do that, I would just put you and Cuban against each other and let you guys go. Because Cuban is like, like a diehard atheist. And like, oh, that'd be interesting to watch, but not on my channel.
I mean, I'm not overly religious.
But so, you could argue, and I know you, and
I respect people's ability to have an opinion on religion.
You can have your opinion. I think without getting into anything, that every religion is based around a similar being of certain values and abilities per se. But I also think that is because people needed something to believe in, and I'll leave that alone.
I also think that as far as religion goes, people don't like not knowing, right? So like, and that goes to what your point is. Like, we have to have an explanation for things.
Sure.
And so if we don't have an explanation for things, we have to find an explanation for things.
Like
right?
looking for facial structures and eyes blinking in a grainy video.
Would it be fair to say that God is a cryptid?
No. And it's not looking for things, correct? Like
there is more proof of Bigfoot than there is God, but yes. So
that's the stuff that frustrates me. Like, cool, don't believe, but it's like you want evidence, and here people are trying to find evidence. They had the computer X-ray the film, they had it analyze the results that it gave frame by frame to provide a skeletal structure, and then it does that. And it's like, well, I'm not looking for that sort of stuff. Well, I mean, it's there.
John, but here's the thing. When you look at that evidence and in all reality, all I saw was a bunch of blue lines drawn on a video, and they mapped out what they believed it was doing, right? They mapped out what they believed was the mouth opening, when it could just be the pixels, this and that. Like, there's different things it could be. There was no defined information. It was just a bunch of lines. It's almost the same type of look when you see like on these ghost shows, and they use the Xbox Kinect to map out a room, and they're like, oh, look over there, it has a stick figure that's supposed to be a spirit, but it's like, what? It's a fucking stick figure on a computer device that's supposed to be recognized. Like, you sat there, and the video is literally a shit smear when it's zoomed in, and they drew lines to where they want you to see eyes, where they want you to see where the nose is supposed to be, where they believe it is from whatever, and then what they believe it is. Like, it's not clear enough to actually get that. There's no fact there. There's their assumption and where they're believing it's at. There's no actual fact there.
Yeah, but so you're talking about belief, and what I'm saying is the computer that analyzed the footage and did the X-ray doesn't have a belief. It's a machine. It doesn't believe shit.
But you got to remember, that computer is programmed by who?
By people.
It's programmed by people.
Sure.
The computer is not the almighty perfect answer, right? It's programmed by people, and the flaws are there. And like, it literally, all it was, oh, look, this is where the computer says the eyes are, but you can't see the eyes. They're like, oh, well, this type of face, and it goes by, oh, the face here and the structure, it would be here. So this is where the eyes should be. This is where the nose should be. This is where the mouth should be. Oh, look, it opens. That must be a mouth. Like, but it's not good enough to actually have the definite answer. Like, it's just, it's not there. It's still a lot of assumptions, and the variables are there for being wrong.
I mean,
like, it's
again,
not.
I would say the preponderance of evidence is significant enough to
preponderance.
Yeah, is significant enough.
Big word. He likes them
to give you pause, right? Like, I get it. You don't like the footage. It is what it is. It just, again, there's too much coincidence to say it's just coincidence. We have tracks that differ. We have features that are not common to people. And you can't put a hinge in there without knowing it's a hinge in a track, right? Like, you're gonna see the workmanship when the hinge is there, especially when you need it to bend a certain way.
Like right? Sinbad and Kazam.
There's too much, in my opinion, there is too much circumstantial and anecdotal evidence to write it off. And yes, I understand the computer is programmed by people, but we use computers all the time to take evidence and zoom in and figure out what's going on. That stuff happens all the time. But because this film is old and because it's a controversial subject, now the computer, which is a machine, is biased to prove the existence of something, even though there's no evidence to suggest that. Like, we're willing to believe that the computer is biased for the existence of Bigfoot, but we're not willing to believe that the computer is unemotional, right? With no bias, and all it's doing is tracing out frame by frame the skeletal structures that it sees from an X-ray. And yeah, it's blue lines, but it's blue lines the computer program drew based on the X-rays it took of each frame as it moved.
But here you are, you're looking at this, right? And you're sitting here saying that I'm using this. I believe in the thing.
I get it.
That video is shit, but you're sitting here like, oh, they use that program to do that. Okay, I'll watch the full episode so I can get a better understanding of what it actually does. Because it looks like they just fucking drew blue lines that I could do in fucking MS Art or where the fuck on the computer, right?
So,
like,
do you guys have Amazon Prime?
Of course. Come on.
Well, I mean, not everybody has Amazon Prime. Don't say, of course, come on. Like, there are lots of people that don't have it.
They're the same people that rent movies from the library.
yeah, so I don't have to pay for Amazon Prime. This is how it fucking works, Tony.
The reason I bring that up is I know you think it's all bullshit, Tony. Go on Amazon Prime, please, before we have another episode, right? It'll take 45 minutes of your life. Go to Monster Quest Season 1, Episode 5, and watch that episode. It's not the end-all, be-all, right? There are many documentaries where scientists have done this, and that show was from like 2008 or 2010, and there are documentaries that have done it recently with better technology, but those are hours long, and it's just easier. Watch Monster Quest Episode 5 in Season 1.
What channel was Monster Quest originally on?
History Channel.
Ugh.
So watch Episode 5, and what that episode does is it has I forget what the title of the doctor is, but it's a guy who
Kevorkian?
No.
Jesus Christ.
It's a guy who studies movement in people and the way that your bones and muscles work and what they're capable of doing. And he brings athletes in and tries to get them to replicate the walk. They can't do it. They talk to another guy who is an actual film prop maker, and he made props for a bunch of horror movies in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And they have him try to create a costume, which he can't fabricate to look like that with the material that was available in the 60s. And he knows what was available because he was making movies in Hollywood during that time. And he tries to fabricate a costume that would show things, and he can't. And then it explains when they had the computer X-ray the footage and put the lines in. It's the fastest way to show you all three things without making you watch different documentaries. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all, but maybe seeing the whole thing in context will provide some sort of insight that I'm lacking. Chris is like, well,
I will believe
maybe that's it.
I believe it will provide clarity for your beliefs. It will not sway my thought.
I'm not expecting it to sway your thought. What I'm saying is you will hear in detail the scientific explanations for what's going on.
So,
all right, Chris, you're up.
No, I'm doing a quick research. The History Channel, I'm trying to remember who owned them or who they're owned by.
I think now they're owned by Discovery.
No, they're owned by Disney currently, I believe.
Really?
Sure am sleepy.
I know it was owned by A&E.
A&E.
Yeah, so the History Channel is currently owned by A&E Global Media, formerly A&E Networks, which operates a 50-50 joint venture between Hearst Communications and the Walt Disney Company through Disney Entertainment.
So the only reason I was asking, this be the last thing before we go. We'll
should have go faster, Chris.
An evening. Piss off, Tony. So there was a lot of controversy years ago, probably right around that time, maybe a little later in the 2010s, but where a lot of these channels like Discovery, Animal Planet, I believe History Channel was part of the problem, was that they were doing a lot of these documentaries, and they were fake. They were doing them literally for the interest and to get people to watch them, right? So you had like the bullshit Megalodon one, you had like a mermaid one, where when you watch them, like, oh, it's a documentary, and you watch it, and it was complete total bullshit. And they got people, I believe, attempt suing them because, like, yo, you're supposed to be showing like factual stuff. Why are you giving us these bullshit documentaries? Like, we want the real thing.
They weren't including at the end of the film, or preferably what people wanted was at the beginning, that this is a dramatization. These are, this is fake, and it was the Megalodon that started all those lawsuits.
Yeah, and then like there was one mermaids, like, and that just, and it might not be exactly History Channel at that time, but that's the things that worry me when it's especially like that. Like, it just, I can't guarantee that they're not just making up bullshit for the attention. Like,
yeah,
but this won't be solved tonight. Obviously, Tony's falling asleep because he doesn't believe
the Megalodon. Let's like give credit where credit is due. So it's been proven the Megalodon is something that existed. Now, is it something?
Is the documentary?
I'm sorry.
The documentary was that it's still alive.
Oh, I don't believe that. I believe it did exist at one point. I don't believe it's alive today. I think that was for the sake and shock value of a movie that happened, right?
I mean, you couldn't not believe it was once alive. We have evidence, right? Like,
sure. That's so weird how that works. We have evidence about that, but not about Bigfoot. But anyway, so
so look up Gigantopithecus before you say things that you can't retract. Just like we have evidence of a Megalodon existing at one point in time, we do have skeletal remains of a creature called Gigantopithecus, which looks almost exactly like what a Bigfoot is supposed to look like in skeletal records. So the same evidence that you have for Megalodon is the same evidence that exists for this other creature.
Well, his name was Jeff, and it was the Elephant Man. So anyway,
his name is Jeff.
So what was that before the Megalodon? What was the other thing you mentioned? Mermaids. That shit's done. That shit never happened or existed. I don't know where people get that from. That thing still blows my mind. If people still want to say mermaids are a thing.
I mean, it's because they're sirens. And, the Iliad Odyssey. They lured the boats to the rocks and they died. Like,
that's true.
Really, what it was is a bunch of pirates wanted to fucking manatee. All right, that's what it was.
I do believe there. So there has to be something to the siren song, and I think that this is my thought process on that. Although I don't think it was women. Here's what I think it is. I think it was that pirates and at that time, right, like travelers of the sea. So they're gone from land for so long, I should say, that they begin to have problems, right, in the brain. They start to like hallucinate and hear things, see things, whatever. And so maybe they hear the sweet sound of returning to land. And so that was really this siren song that they speak of, which is like their delusion of we're close to land and I can hear it talking to me and I can hear it singing to me.
It's called scurvy.
So anybody besides John, is there anybody else on here that wants to give some input?
What my theory, and maybe it's scurvy.
I watched Pirates of the Caribbean. There was no scurvy.
There's a lot of bad dental hygiene, though. But what I always assumed it wasn't obviously a half woman, half fish sitting there trying to lure the pirates to their death, right? Or the sailors to their death. To me, the most logical thing was that they did hear something that drew them in, thinking it was singing, but it's always near a rocky, hillish area because that's where the boats would crash. To me, it was most likely just wind blowing through the little valleyways of like the mountainous areas, and there's the sound of the wind, and they hear it, and they think it's somebody singing, and they just went that way, and then bam, die.
Yeah,
Tim, to your point, they are sleeping with sirens. That is a emo band. Very close,
though. That's what I've always figured it was. It was just the wind blowing through the rocky.
Are you Googling again?
No, I'm not Googling. I'm telling you exactly what it is. It was vitamin C deficiency causing scurvy, which caused them to hallucinate. We know it. It's been documented. We know what happened with those early sailors, right? Which is why they started carrying citrus on the ships with them as soon as they realized that it was a vitamin C deficiency and they could keep citrus for longer. It was scurvy. Scurvy causes hallucinations.
Now, I know that it probably didn't work like this, but the thought of it's just funny that they're sitting there like, hey, Jim, you want to fuck that manatee? Yeah, it's sexy. Here, have an orange. Like, you're going too far, man. Have an orange, you'll be all right.
They would have to have vitamin C every day. Once scurvy sets in, you need a lot more than an orange to combat it.
I think I literally said I know it didn't work like this, but that's what I'm picturing. Like, I get it. God damn, you take a funny moment, man. Okay, Debbie Downer on that one.
I'm psycho and I support this message.
Before we get out of here, speaking of scurvy, another movie you guys should watch is Cabin. Wow, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that because it's probably very not my style.
No, it's a stupid ass movie, and we're not watching it. What did we talk about? What was the other movie I brought up? I brought up about Frankenstein, but beyond that, we talked about something else. There was another movie when Cuban was on. Do you remember, John?
When Cuban was on?
Yeah.
No.
I don't remember.
Because I did talk about Frankenstein because it's not a horror in the traditional sense at all by any means.
I still need to see it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I would encourage all of us to do so. But
Chris has got to wait till they have it at the library.
Or it's on streaming because I have some streaming services.
It's streaming right now for free on Netflix.
Man, so I got Netflix. I got Netflix. That's on HBO Max. I just finished Welcome to Derry?
Gianna watched that. I wasn't a big fan.
Nah, it was all right. I have questions, but I don't think I'll ever care to get answers.
I guess we're getting out of here, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna end this shit because I wanted to end it about 30 minutes ago, and we went longer than I was expecting.
All right.
Tony, you have anything you want to plug for next week? Do you have any?
No, I've got nothing for Tuesday, man. This guy Tony is promoting stupid movies. Get a job, Tim. So I don't really have anything for Tuesday. I know what were we talking about? And we're like, what are we talking about it today? You and I were texting, and I'm like, oh fuck, in my head, I'm like, we should bring that up Tuesday.
We were texting today?
Or yesterday. I don't remember anymore. It's hard to tell. My days run together.
Couldn't tell.
Talking about God, what were we talking about? It might have even been in the group chat.
I mean, I know we're trying to get the guys from Blockies on, but
no, it's not that. But in any case, no, I don't have anything right now. Probably just review the show from this coming Saturday. Stop it.
Speaking of which, yeah, now I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'll be working Saturday, and I'll be getting off probably around 11, and then I'm gonna come up to Hernando and hit that show.
Yeah, it runs till 2:30. I honestly don't know what to bring. I don't want to overdo it. Psycho, you could actually cruise over, dude. It's only like probably an hour and a half from you. You won't.
When is it?
So
when is it?
Saturday.
This Saturday.
I'll see if my wife has anything planned.
Yeah, unless you got like a knowledge bowl or something.
No.
Oh, good.
It'll just be cold as fuck. But yeah, I think it's about an hour and a half from my house. So I'm probably about an hour from my job. It's not bad.
I'll let Chris know.
It's 10 to 2:30. I'm not really sure what I'm bringing yet. I can tell you off the top of my head probably. I haven't sold any blockies yet because I just haven't brought them anywhere. So I'm probably going to bring all those just to see what they do. I figure if I'm going to take a shot, this is the show to do it. And then I'm going to bring a bunch of probably my turtles and probably not a ton of my Transformers, but some of them.
Joe, it's a vintage. I mean,
it's everything. It's not modern, but it's everything else.
But yeah, it's the last time we did that show, I walked around and the vintage was insane.
Yeah.
There was so much vintage. That's why I can't wait to go. And I'm bringing some cash, got some money in the bank also to make that happen because there was some really cool shit there last year, and I'm hoping for a repeat this year.
It's right on, Joe, to answer your question, it is literally right on Spring Hill Drive. If you're going north on Mariner and you make a right on Spring Hill Drive and you're heading out towards 41, it's the first church on the left-hand side where every other week or 2 weeks or something, they have a card show. And I forget the name of the church, but it's right there.
Send me the address, Tony.
Yeah, well, it's something Joan of Arc or whatever.
But you're gonna be cold as fuck if you're back in that room that we were in last time.
No, so it's not in the same place anymore. This is at a church.
Oh,
So
okay.
like it's indoors. But actually, Psycho, if you just go straight to my page or Shellhead Toys, you'll see that I shared it with everything on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Well,
Cool. So that means I will be seeing you Saturday. As nice as it will be to see you, I can't wait to see the offerings from all the vendors because I need some shit. I got some money to spend. So
I have your shit, by the way. I still have 2 things that I got for you that are, I think, 2 things, and they're still in my car.
yeah, you've got 2 things sounds right. And then Psycho, I've got stuff for you that I'll bring with me if you're going. So
I'll let you know.
All right,
Let's
cool.
see.
Well, thanks for having me.
come on, Joe. All right, so yeah. So thanks for everybody coming out and sticking around, listening to our nonsense about Bigfoot and cryptids, but mainly Bigfoot.
Yep.
Bigfoot took up a lot of it.
Cryptid Jesus and Cryptid Bigfoot. It's been a good night.
I mean, maybe Bigfoot is Jesus.
Oh, shit.
You've never seen both of them in the same place together.
That's
And on
true.
And on that, we're ending this now. Before it gets ended for us, we're ending it now.
I
Good evening.
mean, I could be right. All right, y'all have a good night. And, next week on Drinks and Toys, we'll be there.
No capes.
God damn it. Try to get that stop button before you.